I don't know why I was so nervous. I've been dating my childhood friend Maxwell Anderson for 8 months now. Some days it still left me awed that a man I'd grown up with and secretly crushed on for most of my adolescence was now part of my life. My love life. I glanced across the room filled with chattering teens to catch Maxwell's eyes. He smiled back at me. For those few seconds, I forgot the nerves that tugged at my stomach, making me feel queasy. The feeling had started this morning. I awoke with a fright, something that didn't often happen to me. Donna Madison, it was just a dream. They say dreams reflect your unconscious thoughts. Well, this one certainly latched onto my fears and took me on a ride. I'd been married before, for 10 years. The only thing that came out of that marriage was a broken heart. Okay, and some regrets. At 45 years old, I've never had children. It wasn't a battle with my biological clock. Endometriosis had been my enemy. My ex-husband and I had occasional conversations about adoption that never came into fruition. The ultimate smack in the face came when someone who could and did carry his child led to my failed marriage. It's taken me 5 long years to overcome that hurt and even begin to consider dating. That's when Maxwell stepped in. Literally. He just walked up to my table where I'd been impatiently waiting while starting to succumb to the fact that I'd been stood up. On a first date. It would have been so easy for me to go back to my regular weekend routine that night, binge watching Netflix or Hulu in my PJs with unhealthy snacks lined up in front of me. Old folks sing about how God is an on-time God. I fully agreed with that testament. I smiled again, trying to bring myself back to the present. It was Ashley's birthday. Ashley was one of Maxwell's 3 children, and today she was turning 15. On this Saturday afternoon, despite the chill outside, it was warm and energetic inside the Andersons' family home, probably because of all the teenagers in the room. Ashley was such a beautiful girl. Compared to her peers, I could see she was above and beyond mature. The 9th grader looked exactly like her mother, a mother who'd sadly passed away from breast cancer almost 3 years ago. This young girl, along with her twin brothers, were growing up without the most important role model in their lives. I had no idea where things were going with Maxwell, but I knew from the beginning he was a package deal. A package with a vibrant past, now tinged with grief. Alex and Adrian, Maxwell's boys, were easy. Both 16, they reminded me so much of Maxwell at that age. They were polite and answered my questions, but they were boys. Even Maxwell had a hard time getting them to talk to him, so I didn't expect much. From the first time I met Ashley, I knew it wouldn't be easy for her. Nobody wanted someone replacing their mother. Not that I could. I was definitely nobody's replacement. But knowing how much I treasured my own mother, my heart went out to her. I felt if I was going to be a part of Maxwell's life, that I needed to be there for his daughter. How could I? I'd never been a mother myself. There were days I didn't know what to do. If it wasn't for my best friend Fatima Lawrence going with me yesterday, I wouldn't have been able to purchase the birthday gift I found. Even with Fatima by my side, I agonized over the gift before deciding on a bracelet that I hoped Ashley would love. One could only hope. What seemed to be an acceptance in the first few months of Maxwell's and my rekindled friendship grew to a subtle resentment. I wasn't sure when it started or when I noticed. I mentioned it to Maxwell once, but he seemed oblivious, chalking Ashley's behavior up to being a teenager. I didn't doubt her raging hormones could be blamed, but I come to the crippling realization the girl didn't really like me much. From what I could gather from Maxwell, he hadn't dated at all since his wife's death. I've been the first woman in their household since Allison Anderson passed away. I believed it was okay when I was introduced as a childhood friend, but to be a girlfriend seemed to be met with a disdain from Ashley that I couldn't overcome. So I prayed for patience and the words to say. Even prayed this child would like her birthday gift, because I was happy for the first time in what felt like a lifetime.